I'm making this video because a subscriber asked me about it, and it hits a chord with me. It hits a chord on an emotional level because I can relate to it, and also because I think it's a really important message to get out to you as well as your family. So the question was about Mary Jo. I don't know what to do, but I feel so sad. And it comes from someone who just had a baby, and the baby's 2 weeks, and she's from a broken family, which means she grew up with a lot of inner fighting between her parents. They divorced, and so she has a mom's side of the family and a dad's side of the family. And she made it a stipulation because her doctor did that anyone that wanted to see the newborn in the first 6 weeks would get a whooping cough vaccine, which is standard of care. It's announced by the CDC, which is very important. And I don't care what you think about vaccines, but it is important that you honor the scientists. You're not a scientist, and that's what science says. So I completely back her up with this. Well, everyone came to see the baby except her dad, and she's very close to her dad. And her dad apparently was so afraid of getting this vaccine or whatever that he not only didn't get it, he blamed her. He said she was blackmailing him. So I have some things that I want to sort out and I want to explain to you. When your child has a baby, they are going to start creating their family. And whatever rules they put in place for the safety of their children, it's really important that parents abide by that. Grandparents, you raise that child, yes, but you do not have the authority to tell your child how to raise their children. And they're scared. I know my child had a baby during the pandemic, and it was scary. It was a preemie, and anything. She told us to get flu shots. She asked us to get, the COVID vaccine, everything I abided by because her wishes, my love for her and the grandchild overwhelmed any kind of resistance on my part for any of that. I would lay down my life for my grandchildren and my children, and if that's what was required in order for me to hold that new baby, you can bet I would do it. So going forward, if your children make rules for raising their children, unless it's something you can see that could harm them, then I think you should keep your mouth shut and go forward and do what they require. I know it's flu season, most of the year, get your flu shot. If that's what they believe is going to help that child, and it's not only belief, it's what science says. If we all got a flu shot, there'd be less flus. Then I think you should abide with it. It goes also for their rituals, what they believe in, their faith. For you to resist seeing that grandchild because of whatever your children are trying to create in their new home is not only selfish, but it shows me your inability to truly love. It shows me that you're more stubborn about getting your way than you are bonding with your child and that grandchild, and maybe creating a relationship with that grandchild that you can love and cherish throughout your life. I know a lot of families have a lot of brokenness, and I understand that bad things happen, but this is something I stay very firm on because the relationship you have with your child begins at the beginning. And the relationship you're going to have with your grandchild begins at the beginning. If you don't hold that child or take every opportunity you can to see that grandchild, to make a relationship with that grandchild, that is your loss. You cannot blame the parents. You cannot blame your kid. You cannot blame your ex or anything else. You have a right to have that relationship and create it and work to make it the best you can. That means you align with what the parents' feelings and what they want for that child. You align with their rules. Some of the rules you might say, no, this is never going to work. Doesn't matter. Just keep your mouth shut, and as much as you can, align with your child's rules for their child, because it's not yours. You're going to get to enjoy the baby and then give it back to them. So try to be a support person rather than someone who tears them down, makes them feel incompetent as a parent, or works against their family. Remember, the best families work together to create a relationship they all love being part of. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, go ahead and ask me a question if there's something that's on your mind and you need help with in the future. Thanks a lot.